Hey guys, what's happening? Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. Hope everybody's doing great. Hey guys, I am going to try a different format here. Okay, got a lot of criticism in my last video about how I was kind of jumping around and doing a lot of shout outs and all that stuff, and I've been trying to correct this for a long time, and I can't seem to get it right. Um, So I'm going to try this. So what I'm doing, I've already recorded the space weather part of this live stream. Okay. So I'm going to play it while I'm live. It should help keep me in focus. I can still address you guys if I need to. I can stop it, but I most likely will play the full space weather thing first and then talk to you, unless I think I've missed something or I need to jump into it. I hope this works out for everybody. I really do. I'm really trying to make it better for everybody, and I understand people's time is valuable. So I do think this may work better for me. It should help keep me from being so squirrely. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it then. I'm going to go ahead and start this up, and we will see what you guys think about it. So here we go. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm going to kind of try this a different way. What you're listening to at this second is a recording. I'm going to go ahead and record what I want to show you guys with the space weather end of it. Got a lot of criticism in my last video, and a lot of it was valid criticism. So thank you for everybody that did that respectfully. There was a couple that was kind of on the border of people kind of coming at me pretty hard, but that's okay also. I can take it. So I'm going to try this to keep myself from squirreling. So with that being said, let's just get into it. Guys, we've had a geomagnetic storm, and yeah, this was not expected. So you're seeing a G1 storm, G1 storm. You come over here to the geomagnetic activity, the KP index. When we get to a 5, that means that we're at a G1 storm. So we went here, down, and then back up. It does look like it's waning off again, and I'll show you that in just a second. But as far as flaring is going with the X-ray flux, not much going on there. So I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time on that. But this was unexpected. We were expecting one for tomorrow from a coronal hole stream, but it looks as though we've had something else happen also. So let me go show you what I think might be causing it. Before I do that, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the other data collection here from a German website. Now, I've been showing you guys this for a minute now. I've seen Tamara the Scope using it, and it's really, really cool. I like this a lot better because this is a good example to show you guys how things can be a little bit misunderstood if you don't have at least as close to real-time information as you can get. So what I'm talking about is this is a HP30 versus the KP index. These are 3-hour increments. Okay, these are 30-minute increments. So it allows us to see the conditions at whatever level they were a lot quicker, more of them, so we can get a better understanding of why the average is what it is. Okay, but as you can see, this is exactly the same data. It's just they call it the HP and not the KP. But a 5 here is also the same as what it is on the KP. Okay. So that's a G1 storm. Now we got to that, and we kind of went above it for a little while, and then it looks as though we hit KP2 or KP6, which would be a G2 storm for like an hour. So yeah, so that's why I want to show you guys this one, because it does give us a better idea of what's happening. Now we may not have got all the way to a 6, which is maybe why we didn't see them say, hey, guys, you're at a at a G2 storm over here on Space Weather Prediction Center, NOAA, right? So they kept it at a 1. But as we can see here, that we got really close to a G2. Now, is that a big deal? No. We're seeing a lot of extra aurora right now, and it is because we've had a crack open up in our magnetic field. And I'll go into that a little bit more here in just a second. But let me take you guys over here to the data. Now, this is the one I showed you guys yesterday. What are we seeing? Well, we're seeing the BZ here. I talked about this yesterday. This is the direction of our magnetic field. right? The orientation of it. When it's in a southerly orientation, it shows up here in a red line, right? And if it gets to -6 or larger, that means that we're in a position that allows things to come in easier. So we got to that, and we stayed there for a good amount of time because it puts it in purple here on the Discover data, right? It does look like it's, kind of climbed back up to almost a 0 point. That's what that line is. It may even go positive. Who knows? But we also had the phi angle flip. That's the polarity of the solar wind. I talked about that also yesterday. The solar wind has a polarity because that's how it gets here. Hey guys, just want to pop on here real quick. This is me live, just so you guys understand. It just is what it is, right? I did want to pop on here. I didn't give a very long intro. I just seen that comment come through, and that's okay. I'm just trying to explain to everybody here this one time what I'm going to be doing. I'm still here, and I can still jump in, just like I'm doing right now. Okay? I'm just going to play the video. It's going to help me stay focused. And so I'm still here with you. So if you have questions or what have you, please let me know. And then we'll talk about the other stuff after that. All right? So I'm still here with you guys. Here on a magnetic connection line, and those magnetic connection lines have a negative and a positive. So from time to time, the phi angle, which is what we're looking at here, will flip, right? So when it does that, it'll jerk on us some. Sometimes it jerks hard enough to cause cracks or what have you. And I'm using that word jerk as very loosely there. There's a lot better ways to explain that, but it takes a minute, okay? But as you can see, we went back to here on the phi angle, it flipped back, right? Boom, boom, boom. So, if we get back into storm level, who knows? But we're going to keep an eye on it. Now, also, the density is dropping out, okay? It got all the way up to like 25, maybe even 30. It got close to 30. 4 is what we consider normal. I don't hold a whole lot of stock in that because I've seen us take big hits with a low density, and I've seen us take no hits with a high density, right? But the speed here, kilometers per second of the solar wind, it's dropping out also. Now, I did notice as this was dropping out, oops, didn't mean to do that. Ah, man, I changed that. Anyway, we're not going to go back to that. Let's just see here what we can do here. I'll fix that later. I don't want to have to mess with it now. But it did look as though it was going to flip up, go back the other direction. You know what? Let me do this. Let's see if I can't just refresh that, see if it gives me a better, there it is, back. Okay. You see how it dropped out? And then now you get a little appendage here, but going back up. So, are we starting to get another, kind of another hit there? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Okay, guys, this is the geoelectric field model. I've shown you guys this a bunch. And what this is this is space weather's effect on our electrical grid or artificial electrical components. What does that mean? Well, they do this because they're trying to figure out exactly why space weather and how space weather affects earthquakes. Notice the USGS stamp here. So they're starting to use this data to try to help forecast earthquakes, quote unquote, predict them. And they are getting a little bit better at it, and they're trying to find out exactly why. So that's why this USGS is stamped here along with NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center, right? So yeah, they're working kind of tandem here to kind of figure this stuff out. Now, as you're looking at this, you're going to see darker areas around higher populated areas. Well, the reason for that is because there's more of those artificial components because the population is higher around the bigger cities. You guys can look at this. It's easy to see, okay? So let me push play and we'll see what it does. Now, the one on the left is a 3-dimensional model. The one on the right is actually complete, and it's a 1-dimensional model. We've been using this one now for over a year. I think it might even be close to 2. They're still working on this one. So, but they're both just as valid. You see that little hit right there? And again, there on the end. So that little right there on the end may be what we were seeing in the Discover data where it was starting to go back up. See that? Now remember, this is geoelectric conditions, not geomagnetic. But they almost every time they're going to react, both of them at the same time. Okay, guys, I got you over here to the Aurora model. And what you're looking at on the left, that would be the northern hemisphere. This is the southern hemisphere. We're seeing an increased aurora on both right now. Okay, and that's very common. So what you're going to see again, you're going to see it kind of climb, and it's going to slowly climb and climb and climb and climb, and that's exactly what's happening here. You see it starting to turn orange here, and then it starts here at the same time. So that's what we're seeing. Now, I'm sure aurora photographers were probably taken by surprise from this, okay? But we are getting some aurora photography. I'm not going to show you any of it because they really hold that close to the chest, and they should, because it is a lot of their livelihoods. That's their job. They want to sell those photographs, okay? So I don't want to infringe on any of that. You know, they deserve all that. But as you're going to see here, again, it's just another thing to show you that, yes, we're taking a hit. Aurora is a really good place to look to see if we're actually taking some sort of a geomagnetic hit, because that's what happens. It gets in easier on the poles. Remember? That's what I say all the time. And it excites these particles, and when they're trying to go back to their stable state, that's what puts off the color. Okay? And different particles will put off different colors. Oxygen typically will put off a green. Nitrogen, I think, is red. You know, but it all depends on what the temperature actually is and what's actually happening there as far as it getting excited and kind of going back, if it's doing it in a quick way or a slower way. There's a whole lot of things to go into here when we're talking about aurora, and it just simply takes too long to try to, you know, explain all that. Please research it. It's very interesting. I mean, I have. I'm not like the aurora guy or anything, but I do understand it at a basic level enough to be able to share it with you guys. So you know, whenever you guys think there's geomagnetic activity, this is a really good place to come over here and see, hey, are we really taking a hit right now? Because this is, you know, this will show you that stuff is coming in. Okay, guys, I got you over here at LASCO C2. This is over on the SEEDS website. And actually, let me back that off here a little bit to show you. Here's the Earth, right? And this satellite I'm showing you is right out in front of us. It orbits on that line, and it always looks at the sun. And so that's what we're looking at here. So this is back on the 18th, and I'm bringing you back to the 18th because it typically takes between 3 to 4 days, sometimes 5, for a CME to get here, an eruption from the sun. It can get here a lot quicker. It actually can take a lot longer than that too, but that's kind of like in the middle. So it's usually like if we see an unexpected hit, I'll come over here and look at this and see if I can see if anything happened, you know, a few days back, right? So this is 3 days ago, probably in between 3 to 4 days ago. So let me start this, and I actually put this in one of my live streams the other day. So let me show you what happens here, because you guys will probably remember it if you watched. See that? Remember I said it looked like there was a hue, like this may have caused a halo, some sort of a halo eruption. This is a black disk. It's a physical disk. So what you're seeing is the energy poking around it, okay? So as I'm looking at this, you know, is this what caused the crack? Did we get hit with the CME that nobody knew was coming? I think there's a good chance of that. I'm just being being straight up with that, because you can definitely see that this would line up with the time frame. Right? So let me slow that down so you guys can see it a little bit better. See all that flashing and stuff going on? There might have been some flaring. There definitely was some jets, some plasma jets. But you see that, right? And remember I said it looked like it might be going off this way, but sometimes it can still reach around and hit us. Right? So this could actually be the culprit. Now, I'm not 100% on that, but it's definitely something very much could have caused this. So... but yeah, so let's go ahead and go look at today, the 22nd, because we've had some other eruptions here, and the sun diver's right here, guys. Okay? Now, you can kind of watch this eruption right here. Right there. You see that? And there's a bigger one here. Right? And there's one down here. Now, obviously, everybody's wondering, are these coming at us? And we'll get into that in just a second. But while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and show you the sun diver, because I just think it makes sense. So, watch this. Okay, it's coming in here. Now, I just showed you guys one of these the other day. This is one of the good things about LASCO C2. Okay, it was put out there, and I'm telling you, this thing has caught thousands of sun divers. Now, this comet most likely is not going to make it to the surface of the sun. The sun typically just burns it up. But as you can see, that thing's coming in there pretty quick like. And they're typically like fragments of older comets that's been here before, and they kind of break up, right, as they pass the sun. So even those little fragments actually will start orbiting the sun also. And usually they're in an elongated elliptical, orbit. So they go out pretty far before they come back most of the time. But yeah, so you can see that sun diver just popping in there. And let's see what we can see over here. It's going to show up here too. It's just not going to be as, extravagantly looking or impressive, I guess. More of a light dot right there. See that? But again, this satellite has done a wonderful job of showing, a lot of different sun divers that we never would have seen without it. Okay? But I do want to say, hey, look at this, because here in the next few days, we could be seeing some impacts from all these eruptions. Okay? And so let me kind of get into that for a second. Okay, guys, I got you. This is the same website, Seeds, but this is stereo A. It's a slightly offset view now. I don't even want to call it a sideways view because it's really not out there that far now. It used to be close to 90 degrees, to us as it's viewing the sun, but it by design, it's creeping back towards our planet, and it's coming to the end of its end of its life. Okay, that's pretty much what I'm trying to say here. I'm not really sure how much longer we're going to have this to be able to even look at, but we do now, so let's take a look at it. Now, this is going to give us a slightly sideways perspective, right? So we can see and kind of get an idea of the direction of these explosions. So let me eruptions, I should say. See that one? That's the one I'm saying that could possibly impact us. It does look as though it's going to spread out enough. It's going to have enough north-south orientation here, or spread, north-south spread, that, because Earth is over here, right? So if it gets down far enough south, it could impact us. But remember what I said about eruptions that come from like around a coronal hole and things like that? The coronal hole stream can actually push these things northward, okay? Or south or east or west or whatever. This happened, last week, I think, or a week before, when we had a bunch of them coming at us, but they were firing around coronal hole streams. So it made it very hard to forecast, and they missed a lot of the forecasting. We did not get hit exactly how they thought we were going to, so stuff didn't happen as intense. So I'm cautious here to really, just say, hey, we're going to take a big, huge hit from this, or a glancing blow or whatever. We're going to wait a little bit before I go into any of that, and just kind of be a little bit more, more sure of what I'm saying here. So I'm going to start it back up and let you guys see it here again. But there were other eruptions here too. Okay, notice how they're all firing off. All three of the ones I just showed you guys on the other satellite over on LASCO C2, on the SOHO satellite. That's those three right there, the main three that I showed you guys already. So, but yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the next thing here. So I got you over here at SDO, right? And SDO here on the 304 angstrom, what we're looking at here is ionized helium. And I've shown you guys this so many times. But I'm showing it to you because this is where that coronal hole is. Now you can see the sun's erupting in a lot of different areas. If you watch up here, you'll see some pretty decent ones up here. See that reaching up? And it'll do it again here up here too, I think. Pretty sure there was two of them. Well, there's a small flare, there's an eruption. You can kind of see all the plasma, kind of dancing around here. You can definitely see this solar vortex or solar tornado has been hanging around for a while. If you remember, I showed it to you when it was over here. It's been days now. This thing's hanging in there, right? It's pretty cool stuff. But, does it really significantly impact us? Not really. It's just cool stuff to see. Now, again, that's the magnetic connection line, so it can actually lift off and erupt right there. But if it did so in this position, it probably wouldn't affect us hardly at all. It would go way south of us. Notice how we got some other stuff hanging around here too. It's getting ready to, rotate towards us. So when we're looking at the 304, we want to look for dark shadows. That's usually what we're looking for. that's how we see stuff on this one. Unless it's on the limb here, and we got the space, the darkness of space as the background. The sun camouflages a lot of stuff like right in front of us. So it does give us a challenge to kind of forecast this out the correct way and be accurate with it. But as you can see here, guys, you're getting solar rain over here. You know, and again, the sun is still very, very active. We're kind of going into a slower period. We expect it to kind of ramp back up here probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks. You know, there is a cycle there that we go through, and, you know, even during, it's a cycle inside the regular sun cycle. Okay, so we'll have more active, the less active, and back and forth, those kinds of things. But yeah, so I just wanted to show that to you because I think it gives us a good idea of what's actually happening here. It doesn't look like we've had any huge eruptions coming at us when we're looking at 304, but we'll take a look at a couple different angstroms here. Okay, guys, this is the 193 angstrom. I still got you at SDO. Now, this is all the way back on the 18th. So I'm going to kind of rotate that through because I wanted to show you guys this coronal hole again. Here's that solar tornado that's been hanging around. But so let me just take this through. I'm going to do it kind of quick like. But remember this one. Okay, I'm trying to see here real quick. Right here. And so what you're going to see again, guys, is an eruption right here. And I showed this to you yesterday. So what we're going to look at here, I just want you guys to see it erupt next to this coronal hole. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of a trying to gather my thoughts there a little bit. But it looked like it erupted there. It's going to do it again here in just a second, unless I need to go further on in time. There it went. Okay. There was a comment left in the bottom of the in my last video, guys, saying that, you know, I pointed you guys over to Matthew Shipley's channel, and he explained this in 2 minutes, and it took me a long time to explain it. They're absolutely right. Okay. And that's why I'm doing this like this now. I'm going to try to be a little bit more concise and straight to the point here. While I'm doing this, there is no chat for me to look at, so I really can't get distracted on that end of it. So I'm going to do it this way, and you'll probably hear me stop this from time to time and talk to you guys as I'm live. I hope this works out. I hope it helps everybody. I hope everybody can be happy with what I'm doing here. I am trying to kind of change a little bit to try to, you know, accommodate everybody. But as you can see, again, now remember what I said. This big dark coronal hole, that's not a hole in the sun. It's just a hole in its atmosphere, the corona. So when these things erupt real close to that, if you can picture in your mind stuff flowing out of this hole, right? So if we had an eruption here, it's going to have a hard time coming this direction, right? Going into this coronal hole stream. So it kind of pushes it away from us. Now, sometimes they can kind of combine and all that. So there's a lot of things to take in consideration, but I'm really timid here to say that we're going to take a big impact from this thing. We may get impacted, maybe a glancing blow. I'm just not going to say one way or the other here, guys, because of its proximity to this coronal hole. Now, again, I have to say they are forecasting on the 23rd at G1. Now, that's probably why, right? Or it could be the coronal hole stream itself. Most likely that's why the G1's there. But if we do take that hit from that eruption, it could mean a whole lot of different things, right? So we're going to have to just pay attention, and as it gets closer, I'll come back on and give you guys an idea of what's happening. Any kind of update on that, I definitely will. So, yeah. Okay, guys, this is spaceweather.com, and I show you guys this all the time, right? Go give Tony Phillips some love, Dr. Tony Phillips, some love over here. He's actually saying the same thing here. He's talking about a crack opening up in our magnetic field. Here's one of the Aurora photos. I'm not going to click on this because there's actually more photos here to see. So, and it did happen, and I do probably think it took a lot of Aurora photographers by surprise. Okay, and he goes into detail here also. Oh, he's also talking about that sundiver. So that's yeah, he's kind of talking very similar to which he should, because it's space weather, right? So any of us that are kind of reporting on this, you know, it's probably going to be pretty similar, at least to the subject matter that we're talking about. But please go give Dr. Tony Phillips some love over here at spaceweather.com. I may even drop it in the live chat, the link here as we're doing this. But I'll tell you if I do that when I go live here. So a little recap, guys. G1 storm. Definitely got hit with one. What caused it? Most likely the phi angle flipping and everything else that I talked about kind of jerked on us. Probably took a small hit from a stealthy CME that happened back on the 18th. All those are decent possibilities. And we do look, this NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center is forecasting us to get into another storm tomorrow. Very early on. For most of us, this time frame here is really close to midnight on the East Coast. Okay, so here in the next few hours, really, 8 to 10 more hours are expecting us to be in the storm level again. And again, if things get here faster, slower, if things hit us that weren't supposed to, that's all going to change. Okay, remember, it is still flaring. Just because things aren't like popping off right at us right now, we can't let our guard down. Because when solar activity is low and we take a hit, a real hard hit, we can't defend it enough. We can't defend it as well. So that actually, with less geomagnetism in our system, things can be a little different. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now I'll scroll down through here and show you guys this coronal hole one more time. That's significant. I did not mention this either. You see these other coronal holes opening up? These are rotating in to right in front of us. So as we get past this one, we're going to go right into this one if it hangs on. These two look like they may be growing together. Now there is an active area here, which it may even be a sunspot by now, that may kind of hinder the coronal hole from getting bigger. Sometimes what happens is it just causes the corona to stay intact because it's adding, that energy there. But other times it opens up, and then if it does open up completely, and then this thing fires off, then we're going to have another talk. I'll be back on here telling you guys about it for sure. So, and again, guys, Aurora is what we're going to be looking for, because that's definitely going to be one of the main things that happens. First responders could have some issues with communications with ham operators. That's how a lot of first responders communicate when we're getting hit with things like this, and GPS is affected, all of that, right? So with all that said, guys, I hope you guys like the newer little format thing I'm doing here. Hope it helped. I do feel like it helped keep me a little bit more on task here, because I did stay pretty much to the point. And the next time I do this, I won't even be talking and explaining what I'm doing. So that's even going to take some more time off of that. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I do appreciate the criticisms. But this is the end of the space weather part of it. I'm going to pop back on during this live stream and let you guys know and see if you guys want to, if you have any questions or anything like that. So God bless. Hey guys. Yeah, guys, I just wanted to do that, try that, see how that all worked out for everybody. I hope it worked out well. Let me know what you guys think about that. If you guys like that, anybody listening to me right now that's not here currently, go ahead and leave me a comment in the comment section if you could, so I can kind of miss you, squirrel. I'm still there, Steve. Steven, I'm still there, brother. I was listening the whole time, and I even popped in a couple times just to kind of give everybody a little bit of an explanation when I needed to. Yeah, so I mean that's what I'm trying to do. Sometimes this does take a little bit more time to explain. So for people that already have a good understanding of it, I think that this could work for them. Just a little bit right at the beginning. So if I need to explain stuff, if you guys have questions, I can do that now. And I'll let everybody know, hey, the space weather stuff, the main bulk of it is done now. It's just I'm here talking to you guys live now. So I hope I'm just trying to respect everybody's time, because I do understand there are so many YouTube channels out there that are doing good stuff, and there's so many things that we could be looking at, and I just don't want to disrespect anybody by wasting their time. So I just want to kind of do that. And I do think as a YouTube content, I guess, creator, if you want to say it like that, it is kind of my responsibility to kind of listen and kind of adjust a little bit when I need to. I've tried multiple different things. You guys have seen me do it. I've been through the ringer here when it comes to trying not to squirrel. So the best thing for me is either to do, and I don't want to go back to doing edited videos. Okay. I feel like I lose a little bit of connection with you guys when I do that. So I just want you guys to know that I am trying to figure something out, and this may get tweaked a little bit more. The next live stream I am going to not like explain what I'm doing, right? I'm not going to say, hey guys, I'm trying a new format, da 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 da, right? So it's even going to take a little bit extra time off of that. I've been criticized for a very long time, even just on my intro, guys. So I do understand that I'm never ever going to be able to make everybody 100% happy. Okay, that is something that's not achievable. It's just not. That's why there are other people for people to go, talk to and listen to and watch. I understand that I'm not for everybody, and I don't expect to be. It does not hurt my feelings when I take criticisms either. And to my mods, if I do get like attacked in the chat and stuff, it's okay. I promise, guys. I love the fact that you defend me. I really do. But unless it's vulgar or unless it's like really, really bad and it's affecting other people in the chat, go ahead and leave it there, because you know what that does for me? It allows me to be able to address that later, number one. Number two, it does show what people, what their character is. I've talked about this, I can't tell you how many times. I oftentimes wonder, would these people actually say what they say to us if they were standing right in front of us? And I already know the answer to that question. You guys do too. The respect level just drops completely out when you're talking about social media. There is no wall, or there is no accountability right away anyway to anybody. You could say anything, it doesn't matter. And people don't know who you are, because you could have 50 freaking sock accounts, all that stuff. So you know how I handle it. You guys see how I handle it. I don't worry about that stuff anymore. It used to really, really bother me. I used to gauge myself on, what everybody was saying, even on a personal level. That's what I had to take out of it. So I've taken the personal attack part out of it. I don't care about that. Let them attack me. I don't care. If they say something bad about my content and they do it in a respectful way, I'm going to try to make it better. And that's what I do. I think that's what makes a good YouTuber, I guess, if you want to say it, or just a good teacher in general. When I was in school, when I had teachers that wouldn't listen to my questions, I didn't learn anything. And when they didn't respond, or if they just said, hey, go look at this, bye, when you're in whatever you're at, it's, yeah. So, yeah. Let's see here. hey, Leisure, he was making a joke. I think you kind of missed that one a little bit, bud. Steven, he thought you were attacking me, man. It's okay. You'll be back in here in 30 seconds, brother. 300. I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sure Leisure will apologize too, because that wasn't. He was just making a joke there, Leisure. He's been actually like wanting me to come back on here and squirrel around a little bit the whole video. So yeah. But again, guys, yeah. Unless they're attacking like vulgar, if they're attacking somebody else, we know that I don't allow people to speak bad about other channels, those kinds of things. Anything else, please, 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 just leave it there. Yeah, you're right, survival game. Sarcasm is hard to convey, so it's an honest mistake, Leisure. Okay, honestly. So I know Steven will understand when he comes back in. It happens. It really does. See, yeah, see, there you go, Steven. He's already apologizing. It is. Sarcasm's hard to convey in a text. It really truly is. That's where emojis kind of help. Yeah, Joanna, you remember that? Talking about my first vids when I did it on my cell phone with a cracked screen. I don't know that my very first video is not there anymore. It was just so bad. I just couldn't leave it there. It was horrible. It really, truly was. Okay, copied from earlier, Christina Faith. How many? Let's see here. How many holes could the sun have before it doesn't function the same? Well, that is a very good question. What you have to understand is when we're talking about holes, it's not a hole in the sun. It's a hole in the atmosphere. So, like when our atmosphere, like our ozone gets a hole in it, it starts to affect us here, right? It starts to affect our environment, all those kinds of things. So when the sun's corona is opening up, it does have an effect on the sun, but it's not enough to really for us to notice or to cause something drastic. And I'll probably be showing you guys this at a later time. I've shown it to you guys before. I've seen coronal holes take up almost the whole front earth-facing side of the sun. Okay? I'm talking legitimately almost half the sun. So, yeah. So when that's happening, it's throwing so many charged particles our way. Thank you for doing that, though, Kenley. I really appreciate you doing that. You know, moderators, if you guys see those kinds of questions, please remember them. Copy them to your computer or your phone and post them back in there when I'm live, when I come back on here to talk to you guys. Okay? I'll try to answer those questions. I really will. But yeah. Yeah, that's a big one, isn't it, Kane? Oh, you're welcome, Christina. You know, and honestly, yeah, I think that if there was enough of them and it covered enough area, it could most definitely affect the sun, because then a lot of its particles are just flowing everywhere. So, yeah, I tend to lean that way too, Victor. There's so many things I can't wrap my brain around, especially when it comes to that subject. When we're talking about the change of our environment, I would say the other two words together. You know, the one that Mr. Vice President, did a movie on. But if I say those two words together, the algorithm hates those two words. I promise you. So that's why I don't say them. So, but yes, I 100% agree with you in a lot of that. That's just my opinion, though, right? And we all have them, and so I respect everybody's and the stuff that I've seen. And I actually think that a lot of even mainstream, they're coming around to the fact that what we're seeing with our environment, quote unquote environment, a lot of it is a cycle. Okay, a lot of it is not being caused by what we're doing as humans here. Okay, there's a lot of good data frankly, on both sides. The fact of the matter is, yes, we're having those changes, right? The argument comes in, what's causing those changes, right? So it's just what it is. Vent, you call in. No, I'm not going to do a call in tonight, buddy. Today, you know, maybe at a future date. I don't usually do call-ins here. Guys, the Lifeboat. You guys hear me talk about the Lifeboat constantly, and I do that. Let me tell you why I do that. Guys, it's my second channel with Tommy. Okay, it's my second channel. So, I mean, it's another channel of mine. Why wouldn't I talk about it? You know what I'm saying? And I do know and I do understand that we can beat it in the ground. I get it. You know? So that's what I'm trying to fix here. I want to be able to mention it, but I also don't want to beat it over your guys' head. And I feel like I kind of have. So I'm trying to, you know, kind of cut back on that a little bit, but at the same time, still bring awareness to my second channel. I wouldn't be, you know, doing the right thing if I didn't. Number one, we help people over here directly. We see immediate help. Let's see here. I mean, I can help explain it without breaking the rules to other people who don't have a question. Yeah, no, Finch. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get you. Yeah, I just don't have the time to do a call today. I could bring you in a second, on a different live stream. If you get here early enough and you put it in the chat, I'll try to bring you in. I'll have to send you a Zoom link, and we'll try to set it up if you want to come in and do that. Okay? I have no problem doing that for you. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I've actually offered my platform to people that wanted to come on before. I don't know if they wanted to come on, but they were talking about some stuff that I didn't share the same opinion. I offered them my platform. I told them I would even just not say a word and let them say what they needed to say about their theories and stuff about what was going on. And the answer I was given was that it was too late for me and my audience, so they wouldn't do it. So after that was said, I kind of kicked all that Zoom live call-in stuff to the side, because it really did put a sour taste in my mouth. Because, when we're out here trying to do these things, if you're that passionate about what you say, and then you say it's too late for everybody, but yet you still keep talking about it, it doesn't make much sense to me. I'm not saying you're doing that, Finch, at all. That has nothing to do with you, okay? It's just I'm trying to explain to you guys why I'm not gonna do any kind of massive call-in show. It just is what it is. Yeah, Joel, that's another thing. I actually, that's the other thing I offered. I offered to do that. I literally, seriously, I offered to say, hey, you get my channel, all of that. Just come on, say what you need to say. And then after that, if I have questions, I'll ask, and I'll be respectful. I've always been that way. I've never told anybody, hey, no, you ain't doing this. I'm not going to do a debate. I can tell you that. It would be a respectful conversation back and forth. If it got anything other than that, the conversation would be over. I just don't want to, we don't need that drama here. And that's the other thing, too, that I will not do. I will not go video for video, back and forth, slamming on each other. It doesn't do any good for anybody. What ends up happening is the two channels are fighting with themselves, and they're trying to convince the one they're fighting, which will never happen. Okay? The concentration should be on the information and the people listening to it. In a debate, no debater goes into a debate thinking that they're going to change the other person's mind. That doesn't happen. That's not the goal when they go debate. Their goal is to get the audience, give them something to talk about and to listen to, and hopefully they believe how they believe, right? So with that being said, it's not productive for me to bring somebody on and just have a big, huge argument dumpster fire. Oftentimes things happen and people start getting laughed at. They get, condescending. They get talked down to. They get disrespectful in a very, very major way. And I'm not about that. I won't do it. I'm not going to take myself into that environment either. Okay? I have proven over and over and over again here that this is a safe place for people to view and to say what they think. Okay? And I've always held true to that. So when somebody, like when I offer my platform and they don't take me up on that, then I have nothing else to say. Because I'm not gonna engage in any kind of back and forth. Especially video for video. There are channels out there, guys, that all their content, it starts off with like their theories and stuff, but you see it morph into them fighting with another person. And then that's all it becomes, is them trying to just attack each other. And man, it's so disheartening, because some of those people, in my opinion, they really actually do have some points. You know what I mean? I try my best not to squash people's speech here. I really do. There's certain things I won't allow, but again, this is not like, I think I think I give more free speech here than what our government allows people to have. If I have to be honest. But at the same time, guys, I'm not going to let anybody else be respected. I'm definitely not going to let myself be disrespected live. I promise you that. Because it doesn't feel good to get laughed at. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel good to have somebody insinuate or call you stupid or an idiot. That stuff doesn't feel good. It's not productive at all. It changes nothing. And so that's why I want you guys, when that stuff gets said in my chat, I want it to stay there. Because it's showing the rest of the world the stupidity that was just said. I don't have to really say much of anything on it. Sometimes I don't even address it. It's enough just to leave it there and let everybody see how stupid that was. And the reason I can do that is because I'm an honest person. That's why. I'm not going to lie to you. If I don't know the answer to something, I'm going to say, hey, I don't know the answer to that. What's your idea on that? Can you point me to somewhere to go look? You know, where can I look to find this stuff? I try to educate myself that way. I really do. So when I say those things to people that are being, you know, like kind of mean to me or whatever, it's not, I know it seems like I'm kind of being passive aggressive when I do that, but it's not. I'm truly asking. I want to know where to go look. I want to find out if what you said is right or wrong. And sometimes I fall on your side, sometimes I don't. And I'm talking about everybody here, not just me. But we most definitely just need to keep that in mind. When we're, especially those of us out here taking it to the next level and actually doing a channel. There comes a point where that's a responsibility. And that point is the second that you start your channel. Okay? Now, there is a responsibility for listeners too, that if they don't like what you're saying, or it's really making them mad, they have a chance every 1,000, you know, they got 60 chances each minute to go hit the red X at the top of the screen. They don't have to watch. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds kind of hardcore. You know, if you don't like what I said, leave. That's not what I said. I said if what I'm saying is bothering you and upsetting you enough, and and you can't change my mind on what you said, and it's still bothering you that bad, then yes, please do leave. I'm not going to kick you out unless you start doing crazy stuff, right? So I just wanted to, you know, kind of explain that. And again, guys, that space weather stuff is always going to be at the beginning now. I'm going to try to do it like that for like a week, and we'll see how that works. If everybody likes it, if it starts to work out well, we're just going to do it. Yeah, exactly. If they're trolls, they need attention, 100%. But I'm actually speaking a little bit to more of the content creators that go at each other. You know, a troll could come in here and say whatever, and the chat will look at it one time and then they dismiss it, and they never think about that troll again. But a content creator is out here every day or every other day or however much they upload or go live. So the influence there is a lot more. So you know, there's an issue there. And I would say, if anybody's making you feel like crap, if anybody is making you feel fear, like, oh my God, I got to run, do this, do that, there are deep subjects that we talk about that you cannot do without actually causing a little bit of concern at least, right? I mean, that's just a fact of life. You can't hide it all. You can't deflect all of that. But if you feel that way, that strongly, you need to take a break. You need to pop off the internet for however long you need to and get your head right. Because you will find yourself legitimately being in fear. I was. I don't know who's a troll, Finch. We're not talking about anybody in particular. Honestly, it's just not. And yeah, so I just wanted to, you know, I want to try this format, see how it works. But I did want to give you guys an explanation on why, you know, I won't do debates. I won't do any kind of debate stuff anymore. I'm not going to get in an argument with people back and forth. Just not going to happen. I might come out and talk about a subject and, you know, talk about like, well, I'm going to have Tommy on and we're going to talk about how to use the sextant. You know, it's going to show you that you can navigate on a boat without any technology by using the sky. Okay? And so you're probably asking, well, why would anybody want to do that? Well, the first thing that you should know is that it's a good skill to have, number one, because what if our power goes out for an extended period of time? You're going to have some way to kind of, you know, navigate. But also, the way that those sextants work and the way that most tools work when you're looking at the sky, if they changed from, say, 200, 300 years ago, you would get lost if you used the same process. So what I'm saying is the fact that we can still use that process and not get lost points to that, hey, the stuff that, you know, the position of things up there hasn't changed enough to really be of any kind of concern in that aspect. Okay, I'm not talking to anything specific here. I'm just saying that's why the sextant thing and being able to do those kinds of things. You know, we could talk about like sundials. It's the same thing. Same thing. And I did this the other day. It's simple shadows. Shadows can show you that the position that we're in is the same position that we've been in, at least since or close to the same position that we've been in since they built the sundial, right? Because they still work. Sundials that have been here for thousands of years still work. They wouldn't if we had changed positions, guys. Those things that's a definite change. Okay? Now, again, and that's just in relation to the sun there. But, you know, as far as Earth wobble and all these other kinds of things that we're probably going to end up talking about again, those things are on a cycle. Ilea even said it the other day, and I'd said it before. Earth wobbles in a 26,000 year cycle. It's supposed to happen. It doesn't happen to the drastic state that people say it is. That's the issue. Our North Star will change. And it's not that far off. But guess what? It will come back to Polaris again. Because it's in a cycle. So, Polaris, I should say. Polaris. Yeah. Anyway. Sorry. So, I'm done with that, guys. But, guys, we're going to be going live over here on the Lifeboat at 8 o'clock. If you guys, please, if you would, please come over here and check us out. We are doing some great things over here, helping people. If you want to know anything about addiction recovery, if you want to know how to talk to your kids about these things, there's things now, especially around Halloween time. They just busted a bunch of people trying to bring in fentanyl pills in candy boxes, Whoppers. Okay? Whoppers. Are you kidding me? Whoppers, and then in Florida, in Polk County, they brought them in Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal boxes. These are fentanyl pills, guys. Now, don't be so naive to think that they're going to pass them out to 2-year-olds. That's not what I'm saying. They're using this as a means to kind of get around the law, try to hide it better. But they still are. They do look like candy. I will say that. So anyway, I'm going to put the link here again to the Lifeboat. It's in the chat. Please come over here. Give us it means a lot to me if you support me over here on my second channel. It really does. It means the world, honestly. So, and this is Tommy's channel first. I got brought in later, so we're partners, and it's both of our channels. So, but please come over here and support us. A lot of you guys are already there. So, trust the guys that you're in there with the chat with. Just come check us out. Okay? So, anyway, guys, I am going to pop off. So, God bless. Hope you like the new format. Yahusha saves. And you can drink this Kool-Aid.